Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to this PIW session. Today it's a sales-related session, and it's called WebEx Calling for Microsoft Teams. As always, just a reminder here, we have created contents based on targeted personas, and we want you to drive and to enable yourself according to your interests and preferences. Therefore, we are delivering to you sessions that are go-to-market or marketing related, here colored in blue, in green, whatever it is sales related, and in yellow, everything that is technical or for techie lovers. So everything available in our Sales Connect page, which is the one ending with 14689. So go there and feel free to register to your preferred sessions for the future. But also you will be available to have a look at the presentations and go back to the recordings for the previous session that we hosted. March calendar for you. We've started the month with a technical session on Cisco Rootkit EQ. It was a deep dive on technical. Today, a WebEx Calling for Microsoft Teams session presented by Sarah Macias with us. And on the 14th, a go-to-market WebEx Suite update, which is a recurrent session we have on a monthly basis. On the 16th, introduction to device meeting, new features, a sales-related session as well. On the 21st, we have a BE6K, BE7K platform update, which is relevant for you to know and to get trained on. On the 23rd, a super interesting session, how to position calling in case a customer says, I already have Microsoft. I highly recommend you to join this session. It will be a very interesting one. On the 28th, we will be ending the month with a technical session, which is with with an ecosystem partner we normally drive business through, with the Magical, call recording and digital fax, and of course collaboration specialist training, which will be on devices this month. So if you haven't done it, please register for the collaboration specialist training as well. That will be happen on March the 9th. Again, something super important. On the 23rd of February, we have hosted the second half partner sales kickoff with our executives, subject matter experts for EMEA, delivering our strategic pillars and contents for you to increment and grow the business throughout the fiscal year. If you want to go back to the recordings and have a look at the collaterals, we have now them available in this page, specifically in Sales Connect. So feel free to go there. If you haven't attended this session, I highly recommend you to go back and have a look at the recording. So interesting topic for you to know. Another important call out here is for partners that will join us physically in person to our Collaboration Rocks roadshows across EMEA. So we will be live in some specific locations across EMEA. It will be London, Dubai, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Warsaw, Zurich, Milan, Paris, and other locations for Germany are coming, so stay tuned. So we will be hosting these roadshows, which will be on MTR devices integration, how to pitch these contents to your customers, WebEx calling, and the power of the WebEx Suite all together in a unique experience, one day training for partners. So feel free to register. It will be on, of course, it's not hybrid, it's not for now something virtual, it's in person. So it's a good chance to go back and see people and do networking as well, rather than doing just a simple training. So feel free to register. Registration link will be posted, I think, also in the chat window here. Another important resource from my team is the Collaboration Monthly News List based on Socio. So we have grouped all the relevant information that we normally receive from the business units, from the global teams, and we made it available for our partners for EMEA into this Socio platform. So it's very nicely done. I highly recommend you to bookmark this page and to get confidence and try to get it as a recurrent source for your information and training as well. We also created 3 spaces in our WebEx app, which are always available to you to join, where we normally share info, updates, programs related information as well. So those are our, channel to communicate and way to communicate to partners across EMEA. So we have a go-to-market space, which is the one in blue, a sales-related space, which is the one in green, and then a technical one, which is the one in yellow or orange, depending on the way you see it. So please feel free to join. You will be automatically redirected as long as you scan the QR code here or you type the URL directly into your WebEx app. Today's speakers with myself, Mara Nidoni, we have Sara Macias, our super expert for the day. So thank you, Sara, for joining. On that agenda will briefly be introduced by me. So solution description from Sara, recommendation for a better UX, future roadmaps and development, and of course a call to action: join the beta program. With that, I think I can share the presenter role with Sara and enjoy the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mara. Well, sorry. Okay. So, hi everyone, I am Sara Macias. I'm a technical solutions architect within the Cisco Collaboration Center of Excellence team for EMEA, and I am in charge of all related to interoperability with video devices, with calling, and today I'm going to talk about the WebEx integration, the WebEx calling integration for Microsoft Teams, which means everything related to how we can add our calling solutions in Cisco to Microsoft Teams. First, let's start with the solution description. Here with us, we have, let me say that first, we have Salini and Shane, who will be answering your questions. And from time to time, I will ask them to say some questions live. So I hope all your questions are answered during the session. The first thing I would like to highlight is that we have many integrations within Microsoft Teams. One of them is related to calling, one of them is related to meetings. Also, we have messaging, video devices, and also things like Slido can be also integrated with Microsoft Teams meetings. Today, we are going to focus on the WebEx calling integration for Microsoft Teams. First thing I would like to say is that even though we are talking about WebEx calling for Microsoft Teams, that is the name of the solution, but it doesn't mean it is not supporting other calling platforms. So the magic of this solution is that you can still use your calling platform, could be CUCM, could be WebEx calling, or could be WebEx for BroadWorks, to integrate it within Microsoft Teams. The only thing you need to do would be click on the calling button that we will be adding to Microsoft Teams, and you will be prompted with the window from WebEx calling or from CUCM in the backend. You will be prompted with the WebEx app calling mode so that you can call your peers, or you can call externally any user in the PSTM. Of course, you don't have any compromise on calling features because you are using your calling infrastructure in the backend. And there is no dial plan, no configuration of routing, anything else you need to do. The only thing you need to do is configuring this integration within Microsoft Teams. And of course, there is no additional licensing requirements. So if today you have CUCM licenses or WebEx calling licenses, that's all you need, plus Microsoft Teams for messaging, of course. Let me show you something that maybe you can find a bit technical if you are very sales, but I wanted to illustrate this because I think it is a good way of understanding what we have now and where we want to go. So this would be on the left. What you are seeing are the call flows for Microsoft Teams calling. No WebEx calling at all, no COCM. This is how it would work if you didn't have the integration. So from one user to the other from the same company, you would be using Microsoft Teams calling. Then from the one user from one company to a different user from a different company that is federated, you would be still using Microsoft Teams calling, which could be actually Teams to Teams calls. And if you want to if you want to call any external number or any external user, which with you are not federated, you would be using the PSTN together with Microsoft Teams calling. That's a paid plan. So we are not talking here about any COCM, any WebEx calling at all. This would be all Microsoft. So our goal would be going to what we have on the right now. From the same company, company A to company A, we would be using WebEx calling to call one user to the other, would be actually WebEx to WebEx calls or COCM to COCM calls. If we want to call a user that has a WebEx calling as well, so if a user is on WebEx, you would be using still WebEx to WebEx call, even if the user is not internal. And if you want to call any external user that is not part of WebEx, is a PSTN number, could be anyone there, you would be using WebEx calling with the PSTN. So these are the two diagrams I would like to highlight to know where we are when we don't have this integration and when we want to go if we have this integration. So as you can see on the right, users could be using Microsoft Teams as a chat, but the calling flow would go through your calling platform, not Microsoft in this way. This is the integration as a whole. There you can see many features here. I will be describing them little by little. So here on the left, you see that we have the call history. For example, we have the the speed dials. You have the call settings. You can make calls from here. And if you go to a chat and you click on a user, you would be able to call that user directly. So this would be what we call the landing page. And there is no need to open WebEx to call any user. Anytime you click on calling, you will be prompted with only the window for calling, not all the WebEx app with all the users or the messages, only the calling window. So we are using we are trying to improve the user experience as much as we can. Still, we cannot say we have everything within the Microsoft Teams in terms of not opening an external app, but you will see how we have improved the user experience so that for the end user, it will be very, very easy and transparent. What's available right now on this integration? Of course, click to call from Microsoft Teams. You can do video or audio calls. You can go to the dial pad and dial any number. You can listen to voicemails, make one-to-one calls from Microsoft Teams chats and channels. So you are chatting with another user, you want to call that user, you will have a button there to call them. See call history is available. You can make calls by searching contacts from Outlook or Azure, also using your existing infrastructure, as I said before. This is available on Windows and Mac and also mobile, but for mobile, we have this only available on the chat. So for seeing something like the landing page for mobile, that's roadmapped, not available today. But that's why we cannot call full mobile support, but that's one of the items we want to develop. WebEx app can be deployed on calling only mode, which is something that will ease the life of the administrators and for the end users, so that users won't be that confused with having two apps with messaging, with meetings. If you are using messaging on Microsoft Teams, you probably won't be using messaging on the WebEx app. The only thing you want will be calling only. Hide WebEx app. This is one of the most requested features, so that I will show you how it works. But basically, if you have the WebEx app installed, you have Microsoft Teams installed, okay, for that, But you don't want the users to be confused with two apps at the bottom of the dock, for example, on Mac, or of the system tray on Windows. So what we want to do is seeing only the app we are using. In this case would be Microsoft Teams. And anytime you click on call on the WebEx app, you won't see the app opened. You will see only the calling window. And this is of course included in your calling subscription. As I mentioned before, there is no need for extra licenses. This is how it works from the chat. So if you want to call any user, you will have the calling button, and then you will be prompted with a card, the contact card, to call that user with audio only or audio plus video. And you can, of course, sorry for the resolution here, you can choose between all the phone numbers of that user, or even the CPURI. The in-call window will be, as you can see here. For example, this user has configured multi-line here, so you won't be losing any of those features that belong to your current calling platform. And here you can have audio or video calling, and you have some features like noise removal that are a part of your WebEx app. And actually, for WebEx calling, you might know that we have now the remote noise removal. You can remove the noise of the remote caller, and that will be also available because in the end, you are using WebEx calling here in the backend or CUCM. Here you have also other options, as if you were in a WebEx calling call, because you are in a WebEx calling call. Of course, UCM or WebEx for Broad works. And here you can transfer the call, hold the call, conference park, everything. All the mid-call controls you have normally on your calling platform will be also here, because the only thing we are doing will be clicking to call, and then this window will prompt so that we have access to all our controls. From the mobile side, we have, when we are chatting with someone, we have the WebEx call button. We can call the user. The WebEx app will be prompted, but only with this window. We won't see the messages. We won't see all the users. The only thing the end user will see will be this window with they can choose between all the phone numbers of this user, and then click to call, and the call will be made. Also, of course, you can go to video call. If you are on audio call only, you can switch from audio to video, and you have also access to all the mid-call controls. So very, very easy. You can see the mobile experience is very transparent as well for the end user. The only thing we are missing would be having the landing page on the mobile side. Is there any relevant questions, Aline or Shane, you want to highlight before you go to the next section?
I think we have answered all around the QA.
Good.
Maybe the last one. Yeah, maybe the last question. We'll answer that on the Q&A.
Okay. All right. Then let's move to recommendations for a better UX, for a better user experience. Something we can do would be putting WebEx app on calling mode only. So here you can recognize, if you are using the WebEx app, that there are no messaging, there are no meetings. So what we have is now a dial pad, no meetings, no messaging, and the calling tab only. We don't have anything else. Here, of course, this is still my WebEx app where I have configured multi-line. I can have the queues configured as well, because in the end we are using the WebEx app. And in the end, if you hide the WebEx app, user won't ever see this window. But maybe if you have users who want to open WebEx for some reason, they will only see the calling mode. The other thing I was mentioning before would be hiding the WebEx window. This means you will, by going to Control Hub, there is a setting there, and you will be hiding the WebEx window from the menu bar on Windows or on Mac. So, sorry, from the system tray on Windows or the menu bar on Mac. So users won't ever see the WebEx app, only when calling another user. Something I would like to highlight as well is that sometimes this is confusing, right? You know about this. So when you have Microsoft Teams, there is a calling button there. And we are adding another calling button. So this could be very confusing for the end user. What we want to do would be looking at different scenarios about what we can do to improve this user experience. One of the scenarios we would be seeing would be a full WebEx calling scenario. Sorry, this is for the next one. Sorry for the typo. The full WebEx calling scenario would be for those users who use Microsoft Teams as the primary app, and then WebEx for internal, external, and PSTN calls. So WebEx calling will be using for everything, or CUCM, and they rarely use Microsoft Teams to call internal or federated users. Maybe for internal they use it, but now they will be using Microsoft Teams. Sorry, they will be using now WebEx calling. But for the federated users, sometimes they want to call a federated user with Teams to Teams call. But if they are not doing that, we can go for the full WebEx calling scenario. The hybrid scenario, which is suboptimal, would be for those customers who, of course, still use Microsoft Teams as the primary app for messaging, but they now use WebEx calling for PSTN calls and use Microsoft Teams to Teams call for internal and external users. This means for this scenario, users will be using only the integration to call PSTN numbers or external users, because they might use a lot Microsoft Teams for internal calls or to call federated users, and that will be still free for them. But still, if you want to call any PSTN number, you have everything configured in your call control. You don't want to migrate to Microsoft Teams because of the lack of features, because you will be migrating from one call control to the other, which is also time consuming. And then you can keep using WebEx calling or CUCM or your call control instead of migrating to a different one within Microsoft Teams. Of course, I am saying here that all the scenarios could apply with CUCM or WebEx for BroadWorks with the corresponding call flows. So the scenarios would be as shown. The scenario on the left would be what we have seen before. All the calls, this would be the full WebEx calling scenario, all the calls go through WebEx calling. WebEx to WebEx calls or through the PSTN, still using WebEx calling as the call control. The hybrid scenario would be for those who want to use these Teams-to-Teams calls to call users from the same company, company A to company A, or to use Microsoft Teams to Microsoft Teams call to federated users. So in both cases, we are using Teams-to-Teams calls. But if this user wants to call any external number or any user who doesn't have Microsoft Teams that are, of course, if they are not federated, we will be using WebEx calling with the PSTN. And here still we have access to all our mid-call controls we would have on the WebEx calling. Is there any question regarding this that you want to highlight?
Sarah, probably in your future slides, you would be covering the admin configure required. I saw a couple of questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will be. Yeah. So here, still just to highlight this scenario, all the calls go through WebEx calling. And in order to do that, what can we do? We will be using the WebEx call button here on the left so that we can open our landing page. We will have also the calling button on the chat so that we can call those users directly. And we would be hiding the Microsoft Teams button. This can be done through configuration of Microsoft Teams by disallow calling, for example, or other features, but this is done on the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. If we want to go for the hybrid scenario, all the internal and federated all the internal and federated calls to users would go through Microsoft Teams, Teams to Teams, and calls to the PSTN would go through WebEx calling. Scenario as I described before, and now what we have would be Teams to Teams call that would go through Microsoft Teams, so we still have this button, and then WebEx WebEx calls would go through the PSTN. So what we are going to do would be keeping this button here, the Microsoft Teams button, so that we have Teams to Teams call for external users, for internal users. But if you want to call any other number, you would go to your dial pad. You would be looking for your dial pad. So what we are doing here would be hiding the Microsoft Teams calling button from here, from the left apps, and we will be keeping only the WebEx call app. So I hope this is more clear now. This is just a scenario we wanted to consider. Of course, we will be hiding as well the WebEx call button here, but this is suboptimal. This is not what the WebEx call integration was designed for. This is just some piece of advice because this has been a very requested feature, but of course, we want to promote the full WebEx calling scenario instead of this one. Any other question you want to highlight, Salini or Shane?
I don't see anything else, Sarah.
Okay.
Shane.
Good.
No, yeah, all good.
Okay.
Some deployment questions coming in, but
Let's move to your favorite part. Sorry, thank you, Shane and Salini. Let's move to your favorite part. It would be the roadmap, which is under NDA. And here I would like to highlight that some of the features I have been adding were from the latest roadmap, like from a couple of days ago. Tomorrow this could change, and Salini is actually part of the people who can tell you more about what's coming, what's not coming, what's not coming in the near future. Some of the things you will see here will be concept UI, which means we are trying to develop what we will be showing, but maybe that wouldn't be the final look. So for WebEx calling, sorry for these two. So for the WebEx calling multi-tenant, we have a roadmap, and for COCM, we have a different roadmap. Some of the features we have recently added would be auto refresh for call history and voicemail. Presence has been recently added into beta, published to Microsoft from WebEx calling, so that presence will be available. Call history as well. Voicemail has been added, and I'm putting this in pink. Pink will be the features that are available for WebEx calling, but not for COCM. Or maybe the COCM voicemail will be here. It depends, but it's in order to show you the roadmaps with all the features. Hide WebEx app per user or per group has been recently added. Knowing my business number and call settings has been also added recently. We will be adding soon a new landing page in beta. The presence to WebEx. So instead of the presence from WebEx to Microsoft Teams, the presence from Microsoft Teams to WebEx. And then the next coming will be all the presence status, and would be here. What we are releasing first will be in call, but then we will have Do Not Disturb presenting all the status. Then we will have published to Microsoft WebEx presence in the WebEx call tab, because presence has like different status in different pages. So for example, on the chat, on the channels, on the landing page, all of them have the avatars with the presence. And this works in a different way from the Microsoft side. So first we will be showing the presence in one part and then on the other parts. And then publish WebEx calling presence from devices when the integration doesn't exist. That means I have a phone here with me. I don't use Microsoft Teams for anything. I don't use WebEx calling for anything. The only thing I do, because I might be a receptionist, I'm only using the phone. So if I use the phone, that means I am busy when I am calling any other user. And my colleagues could see that I am busy. Right now, that's not possible, but that's one of the things we want to achieve. Speed dial, contact resolution as well. Full mobile support is coming as well. So as I mentioned before, mobile support right now is for the chat, but it's coming for the landing page on the mobile phone. Voicemail transcription is coming for WebEx calling. And then in the future, we will be adding other features like multi-call window, so that you have all the options. That's a new feature for WebEx calling, actually. You have all the options there to share line, multi-line, call queue, everything within a small window instead of opening the whole WebEx app. We will be working on reducing the app install for CPU or memory, multiple call handling, which is a great feature that will allow you to manage calls, incoming calls when you are in a different call, for example. Desk phone control, which now is available from the WebEx app, but we want to include that inside Microsoft Teams. Device pairing, that's device pairing. Desk phone control would be kind of the CTI you used to know probably for Jabber. Business texting as well for WebEx calling, admin analytics, them supports like dark or high contracts, and WebEx Go onboarding. As you can see, we're adding a lot of new features and we are focusing on the user experience. On the next slide, you can see that some of the features will be the same for CUCM. So we are working on the roadmap for CUCM, and some of them would be the same, but there are others that have moved. Like, for example, here, voicemail. Beta will be available in this month if everything goes as expected. And then in the next features, we have the same, the presence, speed dial resolution, full mobile support. And in the future, we have single login and post-call survey alongside with all the other features that are relevant to both CUCM and WebEx calling. So we are going to see some of these features in the next slide, some examples of how they will be. First, let's start with the recently added features. Oh, something important, sorry. For CUCM, we are going to need these requirements. So CUCM must be in the version 12 or higher for the 12.5 or 14 SU3. And then WebEx Cloud Connected UC would be needed for some features. Like, for example, for call history, we need Cloud Connected UC. And for voicemail, we need Cloud Connected UC for presence as well. So it's important to know that it's not only having CUCM, but you need to connect it somehow to the cloud to get some of the features we are adding. The recently added features we have would be the call history, and here I wanted to highlight something. This would be for WebEx calling, and we have different types of calls here. For example, this would be a PSTN call, this would be a WebEx to WebEx call, and this would be an internal WebEx calling call with the extension number. So what we have here is that we can call back any user directly from the call history, and we can see any missed calls in red, for example. So we have all our calls in one side. And also, this button means refresh manually, but something we have added recently as well is auto refresh, which means you don't have to click here to refresh this all the times. Other features we have added would be hide the WebEx app per user or per group. So before we could do it for the whole organization, but maybe you have some users who are power users of WebEx for contact center, for example, for anything that they need to use WebEx. So now what we can do would be hiding the WebEx app for for some users and keep it for different users. That's done on Control Hub. Call settings. Here you see on Microsoft Teams, you would have access to the call settings, and you click on the call settings, you will be prompted with this window where you can click on advanced call settings, having all the call settings you would have on WebEx calling or on CUCM. For example, this would cross-launch the user portal, for example. So everything within Microsoft Teams, just by clicking there. And the magical thing of this is that the user won't notice if they are opening a WebEx app window or a Microsoft Teams window. They will be just prompted with the call settings, and they can manage everything from the same place. The presence is something that is coming first on one-to-one chat and users' own status. So, and this includes both Cisco calling and Microsoft Teams presence status. So first we are going to publish to Microsoft Teams, as I mentioned before, and then we will be publishing from Microsoft Teams to WebEx. And the calling status, the presence status will be in call, in meeting, presenting, or do not disturb. I could hear that in call is available, which is now in beta, and the other items are right now roadmapped. And Salini, do you want to explain anything about the presence?
Yeah, probably based on the questions, Sarah, as you said, it would work for one-on-one chat and the channel. One of the question was when is the other states of presence coming in, right? Because the roadmap slide would say the D&D is next. So maybe we don't have concrete dates for everything in next, but the D&D piece would be available for beta in the mid of April. Though the beta for one-on-one chat and channel is already being announced, the beta for D&D is also shortly due.
Thank you, Salini. Okay, so let's move to the other features that have been recently added, like for example, voicemail for WebEx calling, and voicemail will be added in beta for CUCM as well. You can listen to your voicemail directly from Microsoft Teams here on this tab. Planned for this quarter, actually, so for the end of March, if everything goes as expected, would be the redesigned landing page. You see that you can notice here you have now the recent calls where we used to have them on the left, and now we have moved them to the right. And my business number is in the same place. You will have everything on different places, but to improve the user experience. And of course, the live call window will be the same. Every time you want to hit on call, this window will appear. Coming up next would be presence sync on WebEx calling landing page. So that new redesigned landing page will have the presence included. Presence in speed dial, recent calls, or voicemails. As I was mentioning, this presence, even though the presence of the user is the same, the way we need to configure it will be different from the back end. So first, it will come to the user status, to channels and chat, and later to the landing page. That's what Salini was referring to. Voicemail transcription will be available for WebEx calling. So if you have a voicemail, you can listen to it, or you can read what the voicemail said by reading the transcription. Admin analytics in Control Hub. I find this feature super useful because it will tell you where the call was originated. So for example, if you are an admin and you have your users who are power users of this tool, you will see it here. Like for example, this call that is a WebEx calling call was originated from Microsoft Teams on Windows or on Mac, or maybe they are not using that at all and they're using only desk phone, or Microsoft Teams on Android on the web. Everything will be available on the same place you see all your call analytics, which is WebEx Control Hub. And then we are going to move to the UX evolution, which is the new audio call experience, which is a concept UI. Okay, this is subject to change, which means we are trying to improve the user experience as much as we can, and we are showing you here how it could look. This is the new calling window that you will have with small footprint to maximize the screen workspace. So that's enabling you to do multitasking, which means you don't have the whole window for video with an avatar. You will have only the window for audio calls and direct access to all your to all your mid-call controls. If we want to go a bit further, and something we would be doing would be a multi-call window, which means even though we will be having a calling only window, we also can have access here to multi-calls. Here, this user has multiple lines, for example, and also if they receive a different call, they can decline that call and answer a new one. So this is a very good feature for those who want to manage multiple calls. Also on the right, you can see this widget that I will be showing better now. So you can hide or expand the widget. That's still concept UI, so that's how we want it to look, but we will see how it will look in the end. And we don't have a date for this. That's also important, but the idea is this. You have a widget on the right of the screen, or you can move it wherever you want, and you can expand the widget so that you have access to dial any number to look for users. You can access here your lines so that you can change from one line to the other. And of course, you have access to your audio calls, and you can also move it to the middle of the screen wherever you want. So that would be all related to the new features. Any relevant questions you want to highlight? Or Salini, if you want to comment anything about this concept UI.
Yeah, as you said, Sarah, the point we like to drive is that we would like to reduce our dependency as Cisco on what Microsoft can provide us or not provide us. So we would like to march towards an experience wherein we provide the full calling functionality, but at the same time, make it easier for the users to use both MS Teams and still use calling as a backend. So from that perspective, this widget gives us the ability to so that the user stays on the same desktop, he still uses MS Teams, and then at the same time, he doesn't lose any of his calling functionalities because it remains as a small widget on his screen and expands based on the feature he uses.
Thank you, Salini. Exactly. So as you can see, we are working a lot on the user experience, on improving it so that users won't notice if they have two apps or one app. They only need to know what to use to call, which would be a click to call any user. And if they want, they can have also this kind of widget to access all their calls or to have any available call from here instead of going to the Microsoft Teams app. So that's enabling them a multitasking feature and better, of course, user experience. The last thing I wanted to touch would be about the beta program. So we have a beta program now for the WebEx calling for Microsoft Teams, which is actually part of the WebEx Suite beta program. So the only thing you need to do would be going to beta.webex.com, apply for the WebEx Suite program, and of course, enjoy all the features that are coming for WebEx calling for Microsoft Teams and for the WebEx Suite as a whole. Your customers would have to do this by going directly here. They will be asked for their org ID, maybe for something else, I don't remember, but it's very, very easy to do. And this would be all from my side. Feel free to ask any more questions you want to have answered live. Let me see, because we still have like 15 minutes. Or Mara, if you want to go ahead, it depends on the questions we have.
Agree, I agree with you. If we have pending questions in the Q&A tab, so we still have time, so we can take the advantage of the super experts here. So you might want to address the questions. So if you have any, please be vocal, don't be shy, because this is the opportunity to have people really interacting with you. So feel free to ping us or to ask for questions. So if not, I would say that, so we will be always available to support in WebEx, so feel free to ping us directly, anything you need. I just wanted to say thank you, Sarah, thank you, Salini, thank you, Shane. Sarah, very well done, thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. I think it was very useful, maybe for me too much technical, but I think for you it's not that much, and I think it's a very well prepared. So the message is pretty clear. Anything you want to see differently or you want to see added in our PIW sessions, please feel free to jump in our spaces and so raise suggestions. Again, ask. That's the idea of these spaces, to stay in touch and to share what's needed also from your side to be better enabled. With that said, so my ask is to get into the contents available for the session today. Yes, David.
Yeah, just a quick comment about the recording and the deck, because many partners ping me want to know where it's going to be delivered and so on. So it will be published within the 5 to 7 business days on Sales Connect. The URL you already know, 14869, finishing with those 5 digits. But we are setting up a new process to inform you about when it's available. So when it's going to be published, all people attending this session will receive an email to remind them how to grab the content directly on Sales Connect. So you will be informed about that.
Thank you very much, David. That is very useful. Another call to action. So register to the CollaborateSalesWebex roadshow across EMEA. Again, unique opportunity to get in touch with the business units, with our super matter expert in EMEA. So this is relevant for devices, MTR integration, WebEx calling, the power of the WebEx suite. So great occasion to learn and to do networking as well. I hope you can make it. And with that said, I hope to see you in our next PIW. Thank you very much. Ciao.
Thank you.